What's going on, y'all? This is your boy Kel coming to you with another video. And watching All-Star Saturday Night on TNT, but this is going to be a college basketball video. I want to talk about the ending to the West Virginia-Kansas game. Kansas gets the victory. What was the final score? I think it was like 69-65 or something like that. I'm sorry, 77-69. Kansas gets the victory. Only seen the second half. It was tied 34-34 when I got home. And see the second half. West Virginia dominated the first part of the second half. They got up to, I think they got up to like a 12-point lead. But, you know, just like they did at West Virginia, was that this year or the later part of last year? Earlier this season, just like they did earlier this season with West Virginia, they blow a double-digit point lead, and the Jayhawks once again come back and get the victory. Big game for the only true Jayhawks big man, Udoka Azubuike, 21 points. I think he was like 7 of 8 from the field, but more importantly, he was like 7 of 9 from the free throw line. Now, of course, if you follow KU basketball like I do, you know the troubles that Udoka Azubuike has at the free throw line. You know what Oklahoma did to him in their game earlier this year, where they hacked him throughout the second half of the game, when Oklahoma came back and won. When Azubuike couldn't hit majority of his free throws. He did a hell of a job tonight. And then his defense down the stretch, man, was huge. Multiple blocks, rebounds. They said that during the ESPN telecast about how he usually plays about 20 to 22 minutes, but he played 29, 30 tonight. I'm going to get to minutes later, but yeah, big time performance by him, you know, again, especially from the line. Devontae Graham had 15 points. He had 8 rebounds, 7 rebounds, 8 assists. Again, played 40 minutes. I think this was the 17th straight game. Excuse me, not straight, 17th game this season where Devontae Graham has played 40 minutes or more. By the time the tournament comes around, dog, I don't know how much Graham's gonna have left. I mean, but obviously Graham made some great plays down the stretch. Had some nice assists, had some nice feeds. Got a couple buckets. Excuse me. He had again, Azubuike, Graham, they led the way. Gerald Vick had 13. Malik Newman had 11. He had some big shots down the stretch. Just a big time victory. They went on a 17. Kansas, the last 3 minutes of the game, went on a 17-0 run. West Virginia just fell apart at the end. Daxter Miles Jr. had 21 points, but he had a couple plays where really kind of mental mistakes where I know he wishes he could have those back. It was a couple plays where he had like a wide open 3, but then he for some reason he decides to throw the ball to a teammate down low, like to 2 of the big men down low. On 2 different occasions. Both of them were turnovers. The last one was huge. They were down 2. They get and then they were down 2. He goes up for 3. He had a wide open 3. He actually did a great job of pump faking and getting an opportunity for an open shot. But for some reason he seen 2 of his guys down the post on mid shot. Mid-shot, he sees 2 of his guys open, and he just throws the ball down toward them. But what he doesn't see is Azubuike right in front, and he tips it away And I think Malik Newman comes up with the steal for Kansas to ice the game. You can see he was visibly distraught after the game. Excuse me, hell, he was visibly distraught after that play, and it was still like over a minute left. Well, not over a minute, it was like a little bit under, but yeah, man. Just poor turnovers. West Virginia, they really, it was like from I can remember it from like 8 minutes left in the game. West Virginia played really conservative. They ran the clock. They ran the clock down. They used all the 35-second play clock. I mean, it was smart in ways, but they just couldn't hit shots down the stretch. And again, turnovers were one thing. And then big plays by Azubuike and Mikhailuk defensively. Mikhailuk had 9 points. He had that big steal, and he got the slam off of early in the second half. I think that kind of rejuvenated Kansas because again they were down by as many as 12 in the second half, under 10 minutes remaining, and yeah, that really led the way. Excuse me, like Kansas defense really led the way against West Virginia for that comeback. Feel bad for Miles, and I think Miles is a senior. I think definitely Javon Carter is a senior. He had finished the game 15 points. I think he had 7 rebounds, 8 assists himself. Just couldn't get that win against Kansas, in his senior year. Leaving it all out on the floor, again, blowing 2 double-digit leads, man. I mean, with that leadership, that's tough. That's tough. And then, questionable. Well, it really wasn't questionable. It was really a foul on Azubuike on a Miles drive to the basket. I think the Jayhawks, they were already up by 4 at this point. I mean, the basket could have been big, but they were up by 4. It was a clear foul, which led to the basically the icing on the cake. Graham outlet. It was a block by Azubuike on Miles, which should have been a foul. Graham gets the ball, outlet pass to Newman. Newman gets the layup, basically ices the game right there. And then Coach Bob Huggins, West Virginia head coach Bob Huggins, loses it, gets 2 techs, and gets ejected from the game with about 6 seconds remaining. But yeah, that was just the story of the second half of the second. That was the story of the second half of the second half, for the West Virginia Mountaineers. Everything went wrong after such a great beginning of the second half. I don't know, man. You think Kansas is out of it? This has got to be one of the worst Bill Self teams that I've seen him coach in his 15 years here. I mean, there was a thing about effort. It's a thing about guys playing for each other, helping each other and all that stuff. But somehow, some way, they are still second. I think they're still second in the Big 12. I don't know if Texas A&M lost tonight. They were at Baylor. I don't know if they lost tonight, but if they did, that would actually put Kansas and I'm sorry, Texas Tech. It would actually, if Texas Tech lost at Baylor tonight, it would actually put Kansas and Texas Tech in a tie. And sure enough, I just found out Baylor beats Texas Tech 59-57. So that means with Kansas win, I don't know if you say how you say it right or not. With Kansas win and Texas Tech's loss, they are once again tied at the top of the Big 12. And I forget when it is, but later on in the season, KU goes down to Texas Tech to play them, and that basically might decide the Big 12 regular season title. Again, Big 12 Texas Tech loses to Baylor 59-57. Both of them lose to Baylor in Baylor. It's crazy. But I mean, they were talking about on College Game Day early in the morning. They were at Kansas. They were talking about, is it Kansas or is it the field in the Big 12? I mean, I mean, early in the season, you got Trae Young for Oklahoma, you got West Virginia, you got Texas Tech coming on. It was easy. It was definitely easy to pick the field. I mean, with Kansas struggles. I mean, but I don't know. Like I said, this is probably the worst Kansas team that Bill Self has ever coached. And they're probably still going to win the Big 12, or at least a share of it. A win or a share of the Big 12 regular season title will be their 14th consecutive. And, I mean, great accomplishment and all. I'm more of a what do you do in the NCAA tournament type of guy. But, you know, hey, it is what it is. But, I mean, it's so much left. You know, it's a lot of games left in the year. Including the big Monday game against Oklahoma. They're struggling. They lost their fourth or fifth straight game, seventh straight game. They on a losing streak. Trae Young, he's looking to go off. And Lon Kruger probably is. I mean, he's gonna make Azubuike prove that free throw shooting. He's probably looking at that. You want to go 7 or 9? Okay. Let's see if you can go 20 or 22, because I think I think Kruger's going to enforce. He's going to enforce that Haka Azubuike rule early and often on Azubuike, and we'll see how he comes out. We'll see how he comes out, man. But Big 12 was wide open, but I mean, still, Kansas is still in it. I mean, and they're like a 2 seed right now. Like, man, if they're going to win the championship, man, like if they're going to win the 14th straight championship, would that pull them up into a 1 or whatever? I don't know. There's no clear-cut team. Period. I still think Duke will be the national champion. I mean, because that starting 5 is lethal. Allen, Trent Jr., Duvall, and then the big fellas, Bagley and Carter. Best starting 5 in college basketball, in my opinion. Even though they freshmen, best starting 5 in college basketball. But thank y'all for watching this video, and I'm gonna see y'all next time.